Hey guys, Private Jack here. This is part 14 in my series on how to create a butterfly in Blender and put it into Source Filmmaker. So in this particular session, what we're going to talk about is finishing off the materials to get them to display properly. We're going to export, or we're going to compile the original butterfly and get all this stuff. We're going to work with the two models that we have now, the basic model and the advanced model, and we're going to set up hitboxes on the models themselves. So let's get these materials working so that we can actually see what we're working with. So when working with materials, the reason why it's showing up right now as black and purple is because we have not written the actual VMTs for the materials. Okay, and I found out the reason why my hat is sitting way over here. Let's just go back to Blender here for a second. When I built the little hat for the guy, what I forgot to do was I forgot to add the armature modifier and connect it to the armature. So it had no idea where it was supposed to show up. Let's just recompile this thing quickly and get it to actually come together. So we're going to export everything. Ten files exported, and we're just going to do a quick recompile. One model compiled, and basically let's open up this and do a quick refresh, and that should put my hat back on the head like that. There we go. Okay, so now we've got everything working the way it's supposed to, and like I say, session 13. 13's always been a bad number for me, and we've got things working again. So let's get these materials set up. When working with materials, what I usually do is I start off with a very basic VMT, and using VTFEdit allows me to create those basic VMTs very quickly. I'm going to start up VTFEdit, and we're going to create the VMTs for all of the textures that we're using in this series now. Okay, so here in the Tools panel, I'm going to come down here to the Create VMT file tool. And this thing allows me to set up very basic textures really quickly, or basic materials very quickly. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the Options tab, and I'm going to change the default Lighted Map Generic to Vertex Lit Generic. Lighted Map Generic is used in maps, and that shader does not work in Source Filmmaker on models. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check on No Cull. And what No Cull does is it paints the back side of the actual textures as well as the side that's facing out. This way, if I have any holes in the model, if I can see into the hole, I'm going to see the back side of the material that's underneath there, okay? And I'm not going to just see through to the wall on the other side where the hole is. Next, I'm going to click on Textures here, and I'm going to start building my VMT. So click on this little triple dot button. I'm going to come into User Mod, Materials, Models, Private Jack, and we're going to set up the first texture first. So Private Jack Creatures, Butterfly, and here are my, oh no, wrong one, Butterfly 2. Butterfly 2, there we go. Here's my basic VMT, or VTF rather. I'm going to click on that to open it. I don't have any bump maps, I don't have any environmental maps, I don't have any normal maps, I don't have any detail textures, and all I have to do now is click on Create. Now, here's the catch. This file name has to be exactly the same as the file name that I used in Blender. Now I'm going to open up another session of Blender here quickly, simply due to the fact that that's the advanced model and I want the basic model. So File, Open, Recent. I said File, Open, Recent, Butterfly 10, and here's my basic butterfly. Okay, this is the simple model. Now I'm going to select the object. I'm going to come over here to the Materials panel, and I find that the actual material name is Butterfly. My material name for the VMT must be exactly the same as the material name that I used in Blender. So Butterfly, Butterfly. Save that. And my VMT is created. Now for the advanced model, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I don't have to change the options again because they stay the same. I'm going to go into Creatures. I'm going to go into Butterfly Org. I'm going to pick up Helm. Now remember, I left this the way it was. I didn't change the name of the actual VTF. I'm going to come into my advanced model, pick up on the actual object, one of the objects, because they're all using the same material. I'm going to go into my Materials tab, and I find that the actual material name is called Helm. So I can still use this VTF without changing the name. I'm going to open that, but when I create the texture, what I actually have to do is I have to change the name of the VMT to match what I have here in Blender. Helm. And that is created. Now let's go back and have a quick look in Half-Life Model Viewer. Here's that advanced model. I'm going to File, Refresh, and poof, there's my butterfly. So let's have a look here at the hats again. Here's my submodel 1, the blank. There's nothing on its head. Here's my submodel 2. It's got its helmet on. And here's my submodel 3 with the cap. And Argentina or bust. There we go. So we've got those working. If I go to skin now and change my skin, I'm going to find that skin 2 is still black and purple. Why? Because I haven't created the VMT for it yet. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to go back into the red texture, the red folder now. I'm going to pick up on that VTF. I'm going to look at my QC file and find out exactly what I called. That should not be VTF, that should be VTM. Or VMT rather. VMT. I may end up with black and purple textures anyway. Okay, so anyway, these should have been named VMT, and I see that it is going to be Helm Red. Okay, Helm. So I'm going to open up that texture, and I'm going to create the VMT. It's going to go into my red butterfly red folder, and I'm going to change this to Helm Red to match what I called it in my QC. Save. Let's go back here to our texture, or to our Half-Life Model Viewer. File, Refresh. There's my original. Let's have a look at skin 2 now. And there's my red. Same thing for skin 3 now. Open up the texture. Back up one. It's in the blue folder. Open that up. Again, check the QC. I called it Helm Blue, so I have to name it Helm Blue. Create. It's going to go into the blue folder, and I have to change the name to Helm Blue. Hit enter. it's created. Now I come into my Half-Life model viewer and do a refresh, change to skin 3, and there's my blue texture. Okay, so let's go into hats. I should still have all my hats. And this butterfly is good to go. Now all we have to do is set up our hitboxes, and we'll do that in the next session. So with that, I'm going to say private jack out.